Welcome, everybody. It's your girl TT from the D, and it is Testimony Tuesday. For those of you who know, you're going to be in for a time, but tonight is going to be a little bit different, okay? So, tonight we're going to have an amazing panel. We are happy to have a young queen all the way from Jacksonville, North Carolina. This is going to be her first time to TT from the D podcast. And then we have two, as I love to call these queens, repeat offenders. We have our licensed resident therapist, the one and only Kyra B, who I am so thankful and grateful and very blessed that it was on her heart and her spirit a couple of about 2 years ago that she would bless us with her presence to come in for moments and times like this. And then, of course, I have the queen herself, Beth, who is an amazing indie artist, author, actor, writer, all these great things. So is Kyra, but there's so many things, and y'all know how I like to do here. I love to allow my guests to introduce themselves because nobody can ever really tell you who they are like they can tell themselves. So I have so much for us to unpack tonight. As some of you know, I know I've talked to some of y'all in person and some of y'all via text, and I know a lot of you guys are excited about tonight's topic because it's affecting many of us in our life, right? We love ourselves, we love others, and when we tend to take care of, especially our aging parents, it can take a toll on you. It can be a lot going on. And while we're trying to do this and do that and go here and go there, we tend to sometimes fall back and forget to love on ourselves. And that's where Kyra B is going to come in. I love these ladies because they are open and willing to be very transparent tonight. So you know how sometimes people are very private. They don't like to talk about things. They don't want to be judged, or they don't know who's going to say what. But guess what? If you keep on living, as the elders would say, you're going to encounter this role at some point in your life, or someone will end up being the one that needs to take your place to take care of you. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring our licensed therapist in the building first, and then I'm gonna bring in my two queens. Let me show you their pictures so you can know who you're about to see because they are beautiful. Okay, so our licensed resident therapist is Kyra B. Now, Kyra is very, very, I don't know, eccentric, deep, rich. There's a lot. This woman has a lot going on with herself, and to know that she's a therapist is just something else because she doesn't have your traditional therapy as we would know going into the brick and mortar. And but I'm gonna let her unpack that. So without any further ado, I'll bring the one and only Kyra B. Welcome.
Salute, salute, salute.
How are you?
See, I am amazing. Thank you so much for having me. I am real geeked about being here tonight for
Oh,
such a lovely moment.
thank you, Queen. I appreciate you. I'm gonna bring in your other sisters from other tribes. They're gonna come through, but yeah, it's power. It's gonna be power tonight on here. I was like, I don't know if they're ready, but they are. But I'll let you guys go and give a little overview. But I'm gonna go back and get my other two sisters, and we'll be right back. So let me see. I don't want to leave the baby out there by herself. We're gonna let Beth, who is a repeat offender over here on TT from the D. So she has been around this block a couple times. So I want to bring in my next young queen. I met her at a conference down in Jacksonville, North Carolina. And when I tell you she's young, but she has an old spirit, as we like to say, very seasoned, amazing, and her story is something. So I'm gonna bring this queen in without any further ado. Let me bring Kadia Sheetson. Hi,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
We are well. We are well. Welcome to TT from the D. I know this is your first time. I'm not gonna pick on you too much, but maybe not. I don't know.
I'm
So,
ready. I'm
okay,
ready.
you're on here with these two queens. You will see the energy. I thought this was going to be an amazing connection for you to be able to be in this space, but I think that you'd love to connect to these two queens outside of this space because there's so much we have in common. Okay. So I think this is a great fit. I'll be right back. I'm going to go and get y'all other sister. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all already know this queen has been on here. I just had her kidnapped on here like last week. So I'm like, I'm winning Trump in here. So I didn't show this young queen's picture, but this right here. Listen, she got a lot going on. Young and that's that new innocent look, but very rich. So now with Beth, look at this one. Like I'm always this is one of my Beth is she takes a lot of photos. But this one right here, I always love this. I don't know if it's the earrings and then them shoulders and then just the like get to know me because that's like one of her yeah. So it's a lot to say with that. I mean, I know I could go on and on, but I will not. So without any further ado, I'm gonna bring this queen in. I see she in her closet. I love this space. Y'all gonna see what I'm talking about. Without any further ado, Beth.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Good evening. Good evening.
I love that closet. I love that space. I'm trying to tell you. I love that space.
I do too.
I know you do. It's your happy space. I know. I have to say thank you, ladies. Tonight is going to be a very different show. For those that are used to seeing Kyra B and used to seeing Beth, you guys know that they are entertainers. They are pillars of the community. They're giving. They're always reaching back. They're doing a lot, but this is going to be different. And I have to say, before I even do that, let me pause the table of that. Let's go around and give her introduction. And we're going to do my new baby. This is her first time. What we do here, I love for our guests to just give an overview of who you are, what you do. And then we'll just go around and then we'll dive in. But I want you to be comfortable. I don't want you to be nervous. I know this is your first time. Right. And so I want to thank you for allowing my platform to be the very first time that you talk about your life and give this testimony. So I'm honored for that. And then the braveness, because it's not easy, even though we're live streaming, it's not easy. So without that, go ahead and let the people know who you are.
Okay, well, thank you so much. First off, I'm so excited to be here. I feel so honored to be here. My name is Kadia Sheets. I am 30 years old. I live in Jacksonville, North Carolina. I work as a case manager at a nonprofit agency. I've been there for 4 years now. And so what we do is we help low-income families and veterans grow and become self-sufficient in all areas of their life, not just one. So education, employment, personal finance, housing, income management, everything like that. So that's definitely been a blessing to be able to do that for the last 4 years. I'm also a co-owner of my own business called Sweet Seas. Me and my oldest sister, we have a Philadelphia water ice business that we started in 2022 in history of my mother, which we'll get into later. And then I am the founder of Uncovering Diamonds Praise Dance Team, a community praise dance team in Jacksonville, North Carolina, started in June of 2024. So also with ties to my mom. So super excited to get into all of that with you amazing ladies. I feel so honored to be in you guys' presence. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Queen. All right, let me get on and let's go to Beth. Beth, go ahead and let the folks know who you are, what you do.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Beth. I'm a singer, a songwriter, actress, and children's book author from Detroit, Michigan.
I like how she summed that up. You and Kyra, oh Lord, boy, okay. Hey, well, we can guess, so I'm not going to do that. But I love it. Okay. So, okay. Kyra, do you let the folks know who you are?
So salute to all of you lovely ladies tonight. I am Kyra B. I am the visionary of Healing from the Rhythms Within Inc., where we support artists that may struggle with their mental health. And that's something that we love to do. We also fuse music that we write on our own. So we're songwriters, singer-songwriters, and we fuse music with mental health. It's a good channel to talk about the unsafe and unwelcome spaces. So music allows us to really share what needs to be shared and talk about those dark spaces, and then also open up a space where you can get the help that you need. So yeah, happy to be here.
Thank you. I love that. And again, Yeah, you'll learn about them. They're so humble. They're very. I love them. I mean, when I tell you they're the roster and they stuff that they do, so I love it. But I do understand that this is a different type of panel. I can say that. So the reason why I thought this would be a great fit, Kyra and Beth both helped me when I didn't know what I was facing with my mom. Right. Um, I with Kyra B being a therapist, she's also a sister, a friend. And I was just bouncing some things off, and she was just breaking it down. Like, I think your mom might be dealing with this, TT. Talking to Beth, she was like, "Oh, my mom had gone through this. This is your mom might be going." And I'm like, the reality was closing in. Like, my mom might have dementia, right? And you don't, when you look at your parents or a loved one, or someone you're caring for, and there's some changes, sometimes I don't know if it's we don't want to see it, we don't want to address it because we're afraid of what it really might be. But that was my story. And we don't always know someone. Everybody don't have a Beth. Everybody don't have a Kyra B, right? That they can talk to. And I had other people, but these two queens understood it personally and professionally. And so when I had the opportunity to meet Kadia down in Jacksonville, she gave a little testimony because I was moderating the panel at that time. And I asked like for people to come up and say something about like the woman that I think it was that imprinted upon them the most. And yeah, we'll go from there. So for just so I want you to hear, Kadia, Beth, do you mind sharing a little bit about your journey with taking care of your mom and what that looked like in the beginning and how things transitioned?
Sure. And since I've had to deal with that, I try to share with as many people as I possibly can, because like you started out saying, TT, when your parents get sick, um and you don't know what to do, you're looking for information, you're looking for what it could be. You're so used to seeing your parents being functioning and taking care of you, and when you get to the point where you have to take care of them and the roles revert, it's a lot of trauma to you, mentally, and it can be a lot of trauma to you physically, because you're handling a level of stress that you've never had to hold before, and you're in a role reversal situation, which the parent does not want to switch that role over and allow you to be the parent, and now you have to take care of them. So there's just so many dynamics too when your parents become older, and possibly with the dementia and the Alzheimer's. So it started for me 2016. My mother was dealing with my mother was, let me start, my mother was an extremely healthy person. My mother went to the gym, my mother ate clean, she did all of the right things, and she had a brain hemorrhage stroke. And it was caused by stress, actually, for my mother. It had nothing to do with her diet. It had nothing to do with her physical. My mother was not able to handle stress. She was going through a very, very stressful situation with a family member, and it ultimately killed my mother. Because so when you're talking about make sure that you rest yourself and we take time for ourselves, a lot of times when you're in a caregiver position, and I'm bouncing around a little bit, a lot of times when you're in a caregiver position, people will often say, "Well, are you okay?" And you're like, "Oh, I'm fine, I'm fine," and you're just doing what needs to be done. But stress can kill you, and I saw it happen. So my mother has this brain stroke, and she they've diagnosed her basically saying that she wasn't going to make it. But because my mother was so healthy and she ate so clean, the swelling of her brain was minimal when she had this hemorrhagic stroke. So she was able, her brain was swollen, but they said her brain was actually not the size of a person her age. So there was enough space between her brain and her skull to where her brain did not swell to hit her skull. Because a lot of people, and some people may not know this, when you have a brain hemorrhage stroke, your brain can swell. And for a lot of people, they end up cutting the skull open to make room for the brain to expand, right?
Right.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
And so because my mother kept such good care of herself, her brain wasn't the size, because she was like 72, 73, 74 when she had the stroke. Her brain wasn't the size of a person that age. It was much smaller, like a person in her 60s, because she was so healthy. So when her brain swelled up, there was enough room for it not to hit her skull and for it to retract. And she was able to do some recovery. And I say some. So when she recovered from the stroke, my mother had to come live with me and my husband. There's some things I'm going to skip around, but she had her own home, but she was unable to go back and manage her home because from that stroke, she was diagnosed with vascular dementia. And that's a dementia that ultimately turns into the regular dementia. But this vascular dementia is brought on by you having some type of blockage in your brain. And once she had that stroke, there was scar tissue. Blood flows through your brain, and the blood would hit some of the scar tissue, wouldn't be able to flow through, which then you're getting the dementia, you're getting the forgetfulness, you're getting the agitation, you're getting all of these signs of dementia. But it's the dementia that comes on a different type of way of regularly you just aging and getting it. So my mother ended up moving with my husband and I, and that was a challenge because I had not lived with my mother since I was in my 20s, and then my mother comes to live with me and my husband, and we were planning on doing and living our lives and riding off into the sunset. I'm singing, I'm building my career, and then all of a sudden I have to stop and take care of a grown person who took care of me, who doesn't want me to take care of them. So you're dealing with the agitation and you're dealing with the combativeness and those things. So those are some of the things that I had to go through. I had to adjust myself to where she was. I talked to all of her doctors. I tried to develop relationships with her doctors and find doctors that had good bedside manner, and also doctors that were used to dealing with seniors, because that's key too. You can't just get a doctor or a doctor that deals with strokes and doctor that deals with heart. You have to get geriatric doctors that are used to the conditions that people have at that age, and deal with those conditions. So we moved my mother in, and ultimately she lived with us for 8 years, going on 9, until she took her last breath in our home, and we watched her pass. And that's what she wanted. I'm glad I was able to give her that. I'm glad I was able to be there.
Take your moment. Take your moment, bro. Yeah, take your moment.
So when you watch somebody die like that, you never forget it.
Mm-hmm.
And all you think about is that person saw you take your first breath and you see them take their last. That wasn't what I signed up for, but that was the assignment that was given to me. I don't talk about it a lot because during that process, I continued to sing. I continued to travel. I went on a couple tours. I recorded albums. I did all of those things. I was able to still be active in my career. Did a TV show, did all of these things. But I was so broken inside, and I was so hurt inside, and it was so heavy. But what I did do during that process is learn a lot about the process so that I could help others.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned a lot about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could tell anybody anything, when you start to see your parents make changes in their personality, in their attitude, you see their health declining, step in and help. They're going to be combative. They're not going to want the help, because you have to take in consideration this is your parent who has raised you your entire life and has told you what to do. And they don't want to hear nothing you got to say, honestly.
Yeah.
But don't give up on them.
Mm-hmm.
And try to have conversations with them in a loving manner. And don't be combative back. There may be some angry, tough conversations that you have. But ultimately, in the end, and I think I shared this with you, TT, your parents don't want to give up their parental control. Would you want Cody telling you what to do? No.
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Even though that's the person you raised, you're like, they don't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I just really feel that those are conversations that kids need to have with their parents way before they get sick.
Yeah.
My mother thankfully had all of her paperwork in order. She had done a power of attorney paperwork in March of the year that she had the stroke, which was in October. And thankfully, she had all the paperwork together. She had all her business in order. That's another thing. Have your business in order. Have someone assigned to, if something happens to you, that your life can continue and the person can make decisions for you that you trust, that can make sure that you have quality of life. We did everything for my mother to make sure she had quality of life. She had caregivers in here all the time. And then I learned from the caregivers on how to properly care for her, ask questions, like I said, relationships with the doctors. And I actually have people contacting me now after the fact, and they're like, I know you took care of your mom. I think my father's going through this. What is the first step? What do I do? Because I had minimal help and I had to figure it out, and I had to ask what to do. And I had one friend, and she gave me the best advice ever. I called her, I said, what do you do? Because her father had just passed away. She said, the only thing I can really tell you is don't put them in a home. Keep them with you if you can. If you can. Now, everybody's not able. And I know that everybody's not able. But we have to understand that with our loved ones and with most other cultures, they keep their seniors at home with them. They don't put them in homes. When you put them in a home, a lot of times their life expectancy is cut short because they just don't have the care. They don't have the staffing power. So if you're able to care for your loved ones, if you're able to bring them in the home, it's going to be uncomfortable for you as the caregiver. But in the long run, it will be better for them because they won't be agitated and nervous and feel scared. They'll have safe surroundings and people, and they'll be able to be calm. And when they're calm, you're calm. So that's my story. We are 2 years in October of my mother having transitioned. And after my mother passed, I had other deaths to happen. 8 months after my mother, her best friend, my godmother, passed away. And then 6 months after that, my father-in-law, my husband's father, passed away. So we had a string of deaths that actually really sent me into a string of depression that I had to manage, as well as still manage my home, as well as still have my career. So I'm learning now at this point to take care of myself and to rest and to peel the onion layers back from everything that I had to deal with being a caregiver and just grieving, and then also having to be a wife because my husband stepped in and helped too. So that's a lot, but that's my story. But that there it is. I hope I answered the question.
Oh no, you did. I'm blessed and thankful that I had the pleasure of knowing your mom, and she was a delight. And
thank you.
I believe when I met you, I didn't see anything, right? I met you about 6 years ago now, and she was pleasant and loved watching you perform. It's beautiful, classy, just everything. And I remember I got to come over there. I think I came over the day before today, and I got to see her and love on her and let her know that we appreciate her and love her. And, that's different.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was a lot. And with my mom, like I said, my mother was here, and you're right. And it got to the point where my mother, she always was kind of like bossy and everything. So when things started unraveling, like her husband didn't tell us for the longest time she was locking him out. He slept up in the lobby of a police department in their neighborhood for almost 3 months every day because he worked midnights, and she was afraid to open the door, when he would come in, but when it would turn daylight. And then I think it was you, Kyra, that told me that she might be going through sundowners. And he finally said that. Then he said, I go through it with her. She hides my stuff. She takes this. And then I was out with her and noticing that she'd just be staring off, and or she'd be talking. I'd be looking at her. She on her cell phone? Like, I'm like, Mama, who you talking to? She's like, oh, my friend. And I'm like, I said, don't start that shit. Don't start that. So like we would laugh and talk like that. And so she's like, my friend, yeah, he okay. He bothers me from time to time. I said, well, you tell him to go away because he's not a good friend if he come in here bothering you, right? And then I noticed her behavior. She'd come over and she would start turning like our pictures around, and she wanted to sit in darkness. You know, she would go in our bathroom downstairs and be in there for hours with the light out, and things like she wouldn't sleep. And then, you know, she ended up separating from her husband and got her own little apartment. I said, well, I can bring her closer to me because she's still cooking and shopping and driving and she was still doing mama, but it was little things. And she was getting more and more. And so when one of her neighbors told me they saw her in the car on a very, very hot day, and she said, I wanted to make sure your mother was okay because it was like 90 degrees. She was sitting in the car wasn't running, and the windows were up.
Oh my goodness.
And so my mom, she said she went up and knocked on the window. Hey, baby, no, I'm good. I'm making some phone calls because people are in the house listening to me.
Yeah.
And so the neighbor told me that. I talked to my mom about that. Then her neighbor called me again and said, hey, you know, your mom, you know, concerned. She stopped a guy that was walking a dog in the little area that they lived in a nice controlled environment. But she was like, hey, you know, I got groceries. Do you mind helping me? And so the guy was like, oh, yeah, I'll make them up to your door because like she's older. She said, would you like to come in? And he was like, oh. So the neighbor said we was concerned. And she said, you know, I would go and sit with her sometime and, you know, she would say, hey, there's people on my floor and just all these things. And so I was like, huh. So long and short, we started taking her to the doctor. She let me go until it got to the point where I realized they told her something and then she didn't want me to go anymore. And they were hinting around and her behavior just became erratic. And I told my siblings, I think I'm going on mama. I said, and I think that, you know, I want her, you know, she couldn't live here because my husband's an artist. So he comes and goes like that. I work full time. The boys, like my son had moved to Ohio. Cody's a kid. And I was like, I brought her here, but then some days she would just leave my house and not lock my door. You know, or one of my neighbors said, hey, I think that was your mom that came over and knocked, but I wasn't sure. And I asked her, I said, why were you knocking at my neighbor? She was like, oh, I was just visiting. I was like, Mom, you don't know these people. So I started getting concerned about that. Like, but then it really took me out when she told me she was at Home Depot and she thought something was wrong with her car. And she stopped this guy that had a Home Depot apron on and said, hey, can you look inside my car and see? I said, you let a stranger in your car? Yeah, he had I said, no. So I told my siblings, like, hey, this is not good. It's not going to be good. And so my brother was like, hey, let me have the chance to come get my mom out. And us, like you, we like Beth said, we didn't want to, you know, we didn't want to add my mom, like put my mom anywhere. We wanted to be able to take care of our mom and keep her at home. And it just didn't work out that way. So we took her to Arizona, and between my sister out there, Sierra and David, my brother, they were doing it. And then it got even worse. It got real bad where she totally wasn't sleeping. And then, you know, very combative with my sister and my brother's girlfriend, and attacked my sister with a screwdriver. But forgot a few minutes later, it was like, hey, boo. And I'm like, so we called the emergency crisis line. They came out, they had to get her evaluated, and they realized, like, yeah, something's going on. And I'm thankful God is good because where my mom is, it's not what I thought it would be. Like, it's not a nursing home. And it's like I want to say it's like a group home, but it's not. When I went, I had these expectations on what it was going to look like, what it was going to be like. And I thought I was in the wrong place because I was like, oh, it's just like a big old house. Like, and my mom got her own space and she loves it. She loves it. And they're very good to her. And my sister, you know, they visit her quite often, my baby niece and nephew. So they keep her active. We FaceTime with her, like FaceTime her and all that stuff. But everybody don't have that. And to your point, Beth, if we could keep her home with us, that's what we want to do. But we also make sure we are present there. We popped up out of town and was like, hey. And
but your mom is able to do some things for herself.
Yes.
So that's different, and that's the gray area. If the person is able to, you know, feed themselves, clothe themselves, go to the bathroom, do those things, okay, then they can be a little bit more self-sufficient.
Right.
You'll know when you need to move them with you, or if it's not that situation for you. The situation for my mother, we just knew we had to.
Yeah.
But it's a case by case basis. But as long as she knows that her family is there and has access to her, and she has access to them, that gives her some peace.
Yeah.
And you said she likes where she is. That's great.
Yeah, I'm
That's absolutely great.
Yeah, but it was a journey. So that's my little spiel on that. From what you heard, and then I'm gonna get to what you heard so far, Kyra. What can you give some moving forward, because it's going to forever be fresh to Beth, right? Because her mom lived with her. That's her mother, and she was her caregiver. What kind of things can you now? She's always going. Beth is all over the world. You know this, but what could you, as far as healing and making sure that she loves on herself? And that's my sister chiming in from Arizona. She said they love mom too. Yeah. Hey, Fifi. But what could you offer advice-wise to Beth?
The recipe is already there. I really enjoyed just, I'm an artist, so I paint as you go. So just hearing the story, hearing your situation with your mom, it was such a beautiful story, and all the pain that may have been in it. It was such a beautiful story. And I heard you say how you did take care of yourself through the process, even though you were broken. That's mom. So I feel like there was balance there, and that you did get that opportunity to take care of yourself through the process. That's what I heard. And she said, and then I heard you say, I grieved. I took time to grieve, which a lot of times we try to avoid that because it's so painful. We try to step out of grief and get past it really quickly. And sometimes we are pushed out of the opportunity to grieve because we have to get to other things. We have to put on a different hat, and then we end up back in that space again. So I don't really have a lot to say. I think she has the recipe, and I think that's great that you will continue to move forward, and also memorializing that space. And I also heard you say that your mom took very good care of herself. So what an example, right? What an example she was to you, that you would be able to take some of those gems and take care of yourself through the process. So kudos to you.
Amen. All right, Miss Kadia, let us know your story.
Okay. So I do have some similarities with Miss Beth and her story, and about how she kind of went through with her mom. But there are a few differences. So my mom got sick in 2013. She was 44 years old. Okay. First off, I want to say that I am a firm believer that my mom was not and is not a sick person. She was a pastor. She was a writer. She was a published author, actually, for children's books. She was a designer. She was a business owner. She was a motivational speaker. She was everything to me and so many other people. So I want to start off by saying that. But certain things started going on in 2013, but 2013 was also the year I graduated high school. And so I do have a huge kind of gap of time where I was not knowing anything about my mom being sick at all. So I graduated high school June of 2013, and I went to college. And so they did not share with me that something was going on with my mom until I graduated from college in 2017. And so for 4 years, my dad, who was a retired full-time pastor, so he had, again, like you all have said, not everybody has the same opportunity, the same situation, but he had the ability to stay at home with her, with the income, and be able to take care of her. So we never had, from 2013 to her passing in 2022, we never had professional help. And so he took care of her for 4 years while I was in college. I had no idea. I would come home for small periods of time, summertime for 2 months, Christmas break, Thanksgiving break, and I didn't notice anything off without the exception of maybe she forgot where she put her keys or something. But to me, that's very much like people do that. So like I never thought anything else about it. And when I came home, I think it was like 2016, she was retiring from her job, which was very much unlike her because you love your job. So I don't understand why you would want to leave. I don't understand why we're having this big party. I don't understand why everybody's crying. I just don't get what's going on. And so that happened. And then I went on to graduate, and we were supposed to go to Jamaica for my graduation trip. And my dad came and told me that we were going to go to Disney World. And I was like, I don't want to go to Disney World. I've never said that. I've never asked you to do that. But I do know it's always been a dream of my mother's. And so when I came home, December of 2017, they sat me down and told me that my mother was having some memory issues, and that they found out that she may have dementia, which was just a weird sentence to say at 44 years old for someone. So I was like, okay, but it for sure did not settle in my brain at all. Like my mom is a superhero. My mom, again, like Miss Beth said, is very healthy. She don't smoke. She don't drink. She don't drink coffee. She works out. Like this is a very active, in shape woman. So I don't really understand what you're saying, but okay. All right. So she forgets something sometimes, it's fine. And so what I do know, what little I knew about dementia, I felt like, okay, well, she's young. She's in her mid 40s right now. So plenty of time to figure this out, plenty of time to understand what's going on, plenty of doctors we can go to. Like I'm not worried at all. And so I came home from college. My mom was still driving, still knew where she was going and stuff like that. I think one of the biggest turning points for me was, for one, after 2017, things went down really, really fast, really, really quickly. And so we were driving to my grandparents' house, and my mother was born and raised in Jacksonville, North Carolina. She knows everything, everywhere, every corner, every back street. She knows everything. And so we left our house to go to my grandparents' house, and she could not remember where to go. And for me, that was very scary because this is your parents' house. This is where you grew up. So, and it's only 6 minutes from our house. So I don't understand, you know? And so she was like, I was like, okay, Mom, well, I'll drive. And we drove to my grandparents' house, and everything was fine. We came back. She was like, oh, I got it, baby. I know where I'm going. I don't know what that was. It was just just a fluke. And so we went to drive home, and she drove completely through a red light. And it scared me really, really bad. And what scared me worse is that she felt like she did nothing wrong. So she was just like, what? Like, she's looking at me like, what's wrong with you? Why are you so shaken? Why are you so scared? And so moving past 2017, it just got really, really, really bad. So from 2017 to 2022, her passing, I went nowhere. I went out with no friends. I did not work much. I did get a job towards the end, but it was very short. It was very short-lived. But I stayed at home. Me and my dad would go in shifts because he is a pastor. That is a job as well. So he had preaching engagements to do. He had a church. He had church members he had to go see, check on, things he had to pay for, do like just a whole bunch of things. And I was 20, I think 24, 23, 24 at the time. So still trying to figure out how bad this is really about to get. And we would take shifts. I would take like 8 to like 2, and he would take 2 overnight because she would be asleep most of the time. And I was trying to be helpful because he had been doing this by himself for 4 years. You know, even though that wasn't a choice of my own, I was trying to be as helpful as I can, which also put a lot of strain on me and my father's relationship as well. And so just being inside, not really going out, not really hanging out with friends unless it was church or taking care of her, was just repetitive behavior. And so once 2018 hit, Jacksonville, North Carolina had a really bad storm called Hurricane Florence. We ended up having to evacuate and leave Jacksonville and go to our family's house in Nashville, Tennessee. And my grandma was also sick at the time. So neither one of them ever had a diagnosis for what was wrong with them. My mom passed away with healthy scans, healthy x-rays, healthy brain, healthy body, healthy everything. Nothing ever said dementia on her scans, in her brain, nothing. We still have no diagnosis. And so, but we went to Tennessee, and we were in the hotel room, and we were getting my mom ready, and she was woke up swinging, like really just upset, did not know who I was, did not know who my daddy was, just knew she woke up in a hotel room that was not her home. She was not familiar with this room at all. And I was trying to stop her from hitting my dad, and she ended up hitting me in the face. And so at this time, I am confused, I'm scared, and I feel like I made the wrong decision. I did leave the hotel room. I went outside, I just cried and bawled, and I remember calling who I was dating at this time, and I was like, my mom just hit me. Like, it did not register, you know, that's not your mom. She is going through something. Like, none of that was registering at the time. I was mad, I was sad, I was upset. I didn't know if my mom was dying. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand why my dad was so calm. I just didn't get it. And so she ended up almost leaving and getting on this family reunion bus, this huge bus that was pulled up in front of the hotel, and all these people were getting on it with matching t-shirts. And I don't know how she connected that she got on the bus. And so she was about to leave, and we were in a city that we were not familiar with. She is not familiar with. If that bus would have left, it was the grace of God that I saw her about to get on the bus, and I pulled her off, fighting. I think the people was about to call the police because they was like, why are you touching this lady? And it was just weird to describe. It's my mom. It's okay. It's cool. You know, just still crying and bawling. And I have scars on my face. And it's just, you know, it was just really, really difficult. I feel like the process made me have severe issues with going outside with her. She speaks to everyone. She talks to people who are not there. She moves things. She throws things. She's fighting people who aren't there. She's swinging at me. Sometimes she knows who I am. Most of the time, especially towards the end, I was just a little version of her. Like, if I show her a picture of me, she's like, that's me, you know, and I show her a picture of her and she's like, well, that looks like me, but that's not really me. And so it would just be, you know, different things that we went through. But my mom became completely dependent on me and my dad. And the woman who is now my best friend, she came to our church, and she said that God put it on her heart to offer to take care of my mom. She actually offered to do it free of charge at first, and she took care of my mom. She helped us until my mom passed away. This is my best friend now. But no one but us three. That's it, the entire time. Child-proofing this house, coming up with new ideas. Whenever she woke up and decided she found a new way to leave the house, we had the things on the doorknobs and the plugins on all the outlets and the stuff on the sinks. And sometimes she would just be in the garage walking around. We couldn't find her, you know. So I think that just over time, it was traumatic. it was being able in my 20s, not that there's any right age to go through this, but just in my 20s trying to figure it out. I was supposed to be in grad school in Virginia, not home, trying to find a job and trying to take care of my mom and not having any income and things like that. But we had to bathe her. We had to take her to the bathroom. We had to do the diapers. We had to brush her teeth. We had to feed her. We had to get the dissolvable medicine because she wouldn't take pills. She forgot how to swallow. She forgot how to chew, all these things. I mean, it was a journey. And like similar to Miss Beth, my mom passed away in January of 2022. My grandmother passed away July 3rd, 2022. My dad passed away December 17th, 2024. It has been, I feel like I'm just now trying to figure out how to be and how to feel and how to do all of that. I feel like it was two very different deaths. My mom knew it was coming for years. She went into hospice in November 2021. She passed January 2022. And my dad got into a car accident, had a heart attack, and was gone just like that. No, didn't see it coming, didn't know anything at all. Called his phone because the cops were at his door, and the cop answered the phone and said, "Your daddy is at the hospital. You need to go right now." And so just, dealing with that and having to try to understand who I am after the people who I feel like molded me to be who I am are both gone, has been something else. Has been something else for sure. But I'm here. I'm doing it. To God be the glory, because He is the reason why I'm here. He is the reason why I can wake up every day and still be able to do anything, to function. I say often 2022, I have 22 on my arm. 2022 was my mom's favorite number. It was also her basketball number. It's the day she got married as well. And it's the day she passed and the year she passed. Wow. And I am very confident that she was very intentional on every single one of those things. Like Miss Beth, she had all her stuff together. My mom had her will written out. She had how her funeral was going to go, who was going to talk for how long, what songs they were going to sing, what pictures were going to be there, what time her funeral was going to be, and what time it was going to be. And what she was going to wear. So she was very clear, and I'm very thankful to have had such an amazing woman to follow, such an amazing act to follow. She was the epitome of everything that I want to be. So, yeah.
Woo. Yeah. That's a lot to unpack. Kyra?
I'm really just appreciating the relationships. That's what's coming up for me. Just having the opportunity, as a therapist who has heard just about everything, being able to be in this space and hear the beauty of the mother-daughter relationship. It's blessing my soul. It's blessing my soul, because there are so many mother-daughter wounds that have come up from my standpoint and watching the relationship. And when a parent takes a turn and gets ill, the people that I'm seeing are the unfinished business of the relationship between a mother and her daughter. So hearing this twice over is really enriching me in a space. And I'm being really personal with that, because it's so beautiful to hear this, to hear the celebration sides of this, and to be able to digest this from a space of being able to say, well, while we can't change the trajectory and you can't get that moment back, as far as the trauma that I hear in these relationships with mothers and daughters, specifically in the Black community. So being able to hear that there weren't all of these wounds that were there, and you were able to intimately enter a space, even with all of those connotations that come with that. So being able to intimately care for someone without seeking for the trauma or the reconciliation of what you weren't able to get from that parent. So hearing that twice over, I'm just like blown away.
But let me say this. In terms of reconciliation, me and my mother were not in the best place when she got sick.
Mm.
And my mother and I fought all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We bickered all the time. So when she got sick and the doctor told me, you need to take your mother, I said, oh, she can't live with me. And that was the first thing I said. I said, oh, she's not living with me. I don't want to live with her. She don't want to live with me. Doctor told me, I think you need to reconsider that. And I had some friends to tell me that I needed to do that. So whatever issues I had with my mom, I had to just suck it up because I felt that her care and her life was much more important. And we're approaching the end of her life because you knew it was coming.
Oh, absolutely.
I needed to take care of her. And I felt like I wouldn't be able to live with myself if
Mhm.
I just kind of threw her away because of the anger and the issues that we had. The issues weren't even important. A lot of people allow the issues to be in the front, and the issue is the care for that person.
Mhm.
So in me caring for her for these 8 years that we had,
Yes.
I had to really constantly talk to myself and say, the focus is on the patient, because the day my mother had her stroke, that's the day my mother died here.
Absolutely.
And I was taking care of not my mother, but a woman named Elizabeth.
Yeah.
That needed my help.
Absolutely.
Because the mother that I knew, she couldn't even argue with me about that same stuff because it was gone.
Mm-hmm.
So now this was a person who I had to care for that was totally dependent on me. It was like somebody dropped a baby on my front porch. So I think people need to, if they can reconcile, or at least put whatever the trauma is behind them so that they can care for that loved one. Because at the end of the day, you know, when they leave, when they take their last breath, are you going to be able to live with yourself?
Yeah.
If you don't provide the care that, you know, they should have. So just piggybacking off of what you're saying, that's the issue with a lot of people. They're like,
and I totally agree with you.
Because I said it. I said it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she's not living with me.
And it's like, what do you do with that? This is also that part that where does that go? Like when we store this space away, which means that, you know, it doesn't go anywhere. We put it in our subconscious. We put it wherever it needs to go in order to maintain for the moment. So after, like the post healing, right? What do we do with that, right? So it's like, okay, now I have to heal without you. You know, you're not here. So those are going to be answers I'll never get, or spaces I can't necessarily get through. And of course, when you're thinking about a mom and a daughter, father and a son, we know that this is a natural life. You're going to have issues. You're going to have troubles. You're going to have moments like this, but they exacerbate at moments like this. And you feel like you will get the opportunity to fix these things. Okay, well, maybe if I get closer to my mom or dad, you know, maybe this can happen. You know, even in our older ages, we want to get that reconciled. We want that little girl to grow up that's inside of us. Yeah. So when we don't get that opportunity, we still have to unpack that after the fact. So sometimes we get stuck and we can't get to the next space because we're still stuck in that space of, I didn't get to heal from this. Oh, but you can, and you have to.
Yeah.
If you want to move forward, if you want to embrace life again. And I always tell them that you are a better version. You are the better version of your mom. And moms know that, you know, I have 6 of my own children. Wow. And it's things that I say without them even being present. So I think about the moms that transition and the fathers that transition. They are human, and they have moments where they're thinking about what has to happen and what may happen. They're always thinking about us or have us in the forefront. And when we're faced with these things. So the aftermath, the post piece, how do I heal without you? Or how do I heal without mom or dad? What do I do now? So this is usually the space that is presented to me.
I gotta chime in. For me, my father passed in 2014, and before he and Mel can attest to this, I don't know if I ever really shared it, Kyra, at the time, but we had a relationship where it's kind of like I'm the oldest, and I was daddy's girl in my mind until my sister came along. And then when my sister came along, everything turned to her. It was like, oh, Vicky this, Victoria this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Okay, I'm the one coming by here. You calling me when you want this, you need that, or whatever. And it was just like, I'm gonna still stay here because I needed that. Hey, baby, I'm proud of you, and I didn't get it. You know, and I think Tyra, when I got married, it was like my dad didn't even come to my wedding. He didn't walk me down the aisle. My boys walked me down the aisle. Yeah. But as my dad started getting sicker, because I thought like he's just being mean and he's going through things. Once it was, you know, he lived with my aunt, his youngest sister, forever, and they would argue like husband and wife, right? They were together forever. Yeah. And she ended up having a heart attack. She had 2 of them, and then that last one took her out. And so he ended up having to go to a nursing home because he needed around the clock care. And he was bitter and very mad about, I don't want nobody, I don't want to live with nobody. I'm not, just take me there, whatever. But he enjoyed our visits, and we did all of that. And I remember he fell, but he was at the hospital, and I went up to see him, and I was just sitting there, and I happened to look over. You know how you look, somebody staring at you? I said, why are you looking at me like that? He said, I just looking because the love we have after everything has happened. And I looked at him, I said, Dad, I forgive you, and I want you to forgive me. And I don't know what I was needing to be forgiven for. I don't know, but I said it because it sounded the right thing to say, right? So I was leaving that hospital that night, and I said, I'll be back on my lunch to see you. The next day, I went up there. They said, as soon as we moved him downstairs, which he needed to go into hospice because he had cancer, they said he didn't wake back up. He's been unconscious. And I'm like, what? He never woke up again. When he passed, I had a lot of what you said that unresolved. Like I didn't know some things that I wanted to know about. Yeah. And my mother ended up getting sick. Now my mother, I learned from going to counseling, I wanted the mother-daughter relationship that y'all talking about, right? Like I appreciate the relationship you have, Kyra, with Mama Jean. Oh my God, I do. I watch how she is with you and the girls, and my mother was my mom. She's been a mother. She's always provided. But she was so busy being a mom and in a very terrible domestic violence relationship most of my life that we never had that bond. It was more of I learned through counseling, I had a trauma bond with my mom. So I never had the mom-daughter, much to have it. And so I realized through counseling I was mad at my siblings because it seemed like she really cared and loved them. And I'm the oldest, so it's like I'm expected to do this. I'm expected to do that. My childhood was not your normal childhood. I was little mama. I got to help do this. Nope, you can't do that because you got to babysit. I got to go to work. I got to work these 2 jobs. And I'm like, and I told myself, I ain't never having no kids. Fuck kids. Right? I slept on the couch and lined them up. I said, when I get grown, you are never coming to my house. And they was looking at me like, what's wrong with her, you know? And so as my mom started going through this dementia stuff before she left, she got real mad. And she said some shit to me that fucked me up. And I can say that because this is not syndicated. Okay, so it fucked me up because I could not go and ask my father, was it true? Right? Yeah. I had my mom, but what I realized through counseling, they said your mother had so much trauma. Like I'm 50. So I honestly can say from the time that I was about 9, has had trauma. Yeah. And always there. I witnessed my mom get her forehead bust open with a trophy. Witnessed her get her forehead busted open with a pipe. But I witnessed all these things. And siblings are so young. I was also mad at them because I'm like, y'all you can't be sad with me. I can't talk to you about these things because you don't remember. So I have that. And I'm like, what do I do with this? I suppressed it. And I thank God that I am the way I am because I'm the opposite of everything that people say I should be. Right? But back to what you're saying, we go through life with our parents and we don't have that opportunity to always have the best story, the story, your story. There are those of us that's on the other side of that, like, well, that wasn't my story.
Yeah, especially if your parents were surviving, you know, and I always say we're not excusing, we're understanding.
Yeah.
So if your parents are surviving, you're not going to get the best parts of them. And survival is generational. It's handed down. So if you don't learn how to love to get to that next step, so if you don't have safety and food, you're not thinking about the next step, which is love and all of those things. If I'm not safe, I can't see. My vision is not clear. So while we're not excusing, I think as we evolve as people, I think that's why we can forgive these humans called our parents. We can forgive them because you start to self-actualize yourself and you learn to humanize them and understand them from where they are. Then you can celebrate them and put them in a space of glory. You know what I mean? So if you have a person for most of their lives and you call them mom, they've been surviving. The grief part of that, the part where grief shows up is I never got to meet them as a healthy whole person. So navigating those spaces and back to you being the better version, you are the person that's going to see things differently. So that means parents did something right. So in the survival, you got better somehow. You became the better person, or the person that with the correct vision that could see these things. And sometimes we'll get these aha moments and it makes us angry. And those aha moments aren't to make us angry. It helps us understand and to feel that space with love, feel that space with forgiveness, feel that space with understanding, and to move forward. You got the baton now. Okay, so where mom or dad may have fell short, you've got the baton. So let's see you do better. So if you look at it from that aspect, TT, the next step after survival is safety, is love, is peace. Then you get to that next step of self-actualization. I'm a whole person. So some of us take a lifetime to get there. We're still trying to figure it out, especially with the new. Now you're presenting me without this person I've loved all my life. Now that's a different trajectory. Now I got to figure out how to love and how to move forward in that space. So we're always moving and changing our brain waves and patterns. So as we do that, we just do it a little bit.
That is exactly it. Yep.
So, Beth, is there something you would tell man or woman? Because men go through this too. A lot of times men just don't share how they feel, because sometimes some men are taught, you're weak if you cry, you're weak if you express yourself. And I teach my sons, you're human when you do these things, because it's a part of nature, right? Yeah. So is there something you want to tell that man, woman, boy, or girl that may be listening and viewing this right now that may have or going through what you've gone through with Miss Elizabeth?
The only thing that I can say, just looking back in hindsight, I'm glad that I took moments for myself. I'm glad that I did not shut my life down to care for my mother. I incorporated my mother into my life. Because what happens a lot of times, you lose yourself. People do this all the time. They'll start taking care of somebody and they'll throw all their dreams, goals, everything, aspirations away, and they'll submerge themselves into being a caregiver. And then when that person dies, they don't feel any worth. They don't feel like what is their purpose anymore, because they made their purpose be to take care of that person. What I did was incorporated my mother into my life and my lifestyle. And that was a transition that was hard to do. There was a lot of juggling. But my husband was amazing in helping support me. My husband made sure that he still took me on vacations. We just did shorter vacations. He would take me away. He said, you need to get out the house. And then I had an outlet that most people don't have, because I'm an artist. I was on tours. I was traveling. So I was away from the home. So there were times where I could block that out. Yeah. But I would still call home constantly. I remember I would take my phone on the stage with me, as if somebody called me and it was something I could do at the time. Right. But I had my phone with me on the stage. I was always calling. I was always checking in. And I'm saying all that to say, if you find yourself in a situation where you are caring for somebody else and you know that it's eventually going to be terminal, you never can predict how it's going to end, but it's going to end. and you know that you had a life before that person and you'll have a life after that person. Find whatever moment you can, if it be as small as just going in the bathroom and taking a long bubble bath for yourself. If it's nothing but just a trip to the grocery store, or go to the movies, or take a walk, or you just give yourself a certain amount of time per day to clear your thoughts. Never forget yourself in that process of caregiving, because at some point you're going to have to pick your life back up after they go. And it's hard enough. It's still been hard for me, even though I had moments for myself and I still was able to care for myself. It still was hard. The grieving process, I still can't talk about it without crying. It's still a fresh wound for me.
Yeah.
But the knowing that I did everything that I could for my mother, knowing that I was able to witness her transition, knowing that I still cared for myself in the process, gives me the peace. I'm not lost. I'm just putting pieces together. You know what I'm saying? So some people come out of this and they're lost. They don't know what to do. So
it's weird.
I like that. Idea, as your story, is different. Young and had put college on hold and grad school and all those things. For that young man, that young lady that find themselves in your shoes, what would you say to them based off of what you've experienced?
I would definitely, I can speak from what Miss Beth said about not putting yourself on hold. I feel like I did the complete opposite of Miss Beth. I feel like I definitely put my entire life on hold. I definitely did not go out. I definitely made my entire life caretaking for my mother. So what I would suggest is lean into your support system. Also, find your foundation in God. I would say those two things. I feel like throughout the entire experience, I feel like I had a house of 4. They were my house of foundation, my parents and my grandparents. 3 out of 4 are gone now. And so I am working on it, but I hyper analyze everything with my grandfather. I call him all the time, every day. If he does not answer, I'm going to the house. He lives 5 minutes away. I'm driving. I'm looking, like I'm calling his most recent places. Where he at? Is he with you? Is he with you? He can't be a lot of places now, because I'm super like Miss Beth said, I gave my all into caretaking for my mother. And then as soon as my mom passed, it was all focused on grandma. That was my entire life. 5 months later, she gone too. And then it was all hyper focused on my dad and my grandfather. Okay, y'all, I need to know the doctor's appointments, what the doctors say. I'm making the meals, I'm cooking, and now that is my entire life. And now my dad's gone. And so I think that, like I said earlier, just now finding some type of footing. But God has allowed me to know that my foundation is in him. It was never in them. I love them. And I'm so thankful for them. And I'm so thankful to have had the type of relationship I had with each of them. Me and my daddy's relationship, it was not the best. We did argue all the time. However, near his passing, we were probably the closest we had ever been in life. And I know that taking care of my mom brought us to that point. So leaning into your foundation, the support system that came out of losing my parents has been the most transformative of my entire life. The people that loved them, the people that supported them, the people who learned from them now love me and support me and pour into me. I've met so many other people that I knew at a time, but because they also lost their mom or they also lost their dad, we have created some type of locked in, no one wants to be a part of this club, but now we're a part of this club. So here we go. type of relationship, type of group that we can just call and I can just be crying. I don't even have to say nothing, and they'll just listen. And then when I'm done, I can hang up and go to work or do whatever I need to do. So leaning into that foundation, because you need foundation, you need love, and you need to know that even now you haven't, even if your parents are gone, you haven't met everybody who's going to love you, who's going to support you, who's going to cherish you. And last thing I'll say is that 2022 was the best and worst year of my life. It started terrible with my mom passing, but it's also the first time I went out the country. It's also the first time I got my own car, my own name. It's the first time I got my job in my field for when I went to school for. I started my own business for the first time, you know, that's successful. And I'm with my sister, my oldest sister, who's just absolutely amazing. So it just changed so much the trajectory of my life. I have so many certifications, licenses. I'm a notary. Like, it's just pushed me to do so much because I know that they were so much and they are so much, and they knew I could be so much. And just pushing the people around me and the other people. I have the strongest women in my life, the strongest women in my circle who I see push through much, even if it's not the loss of the parent, even if it's an illness within themselves or within their circle, within their career. Just seeing them push through pushes me to push through every single day. I started Sweet Seas, which is a Philadelphia water ice business. The C is for Claudia, who is my mother. The praise dance team I have, praise dance has always been a part of my life. We have a showcase every year on her birthday. You know, so I incorporate my parents in every single thing that I do, every single place that I go. The place that I work, my daddy sat on the board for 10 years. And they are in every step that I take, every move that I do is for them and for me. And so that's what I would say. Lean into your support system, make God your foundation. Never stop talking about your parents or your parent. Never stop woven them into your lives. My cousin got me this blanket. It's them and me.
Oh,
you know, just never stop knowing that they are in everything that you do and they see you. Every song that you hear that reminds you of them, you can cry. Every scent that you smell that smells like them or brings you back to that special place or brings you back to that special moment. Lean into those moments, feel those moments, and allow yourself to remold yourself to a new person. You are not the same person you were before you lost your parents, and that's okay. And Dr. Kira said, you're the better version. You're a more elevated version. You're a stronger version. You're a more educated version, you know, and you can do so much more. So, yeah, that's
I love that. Propounds, queens, propounds. Kyra B, so let me ask you, for the person that's listening, because this has been heavy, but you can apply this to those that are taking care of their loved ones, whether it's a parent or a child or a spouse or a relative or a neighbor, right? Loving on yourself while you're loving on others. As we talked about how we have to pause and we got to do this, but then you got to keep on going. What about the people that are just trying to get through life? Like, look, I'm trying to love myself because I didn't get the love from my mother. I didn't get the love from my father. Hell, I don't know my mama or I don't know my dad. What? And I'm trying to do this or I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to find my way. What do you say to them? Because there's a lot of brokenness in the world. We know this. We're not going to fix it all today. We know that. But what is something people can say, you know what? I want to get my life back. Because at some point, people were happy. And something has happened along our life journey. If we keep on living like the elders say, we get caught and we stuck and we stay there and we build upon, but we don't heal. What do you tell somebody to do with that?
Well, first, I wanted to just put in my brain two things. What Beth said about acclimating your loved one into your life, as opposed to giving up your life, you acclimated it. I will be sharing that. And then leaning into your foundation. Those are my two that I'm going to take away with me. And I think about, just remember that when life events happen, whoever you are in that moment, that's who's going to show up. Mm. So as you love on yourself through the process, sometimes we have to crawl before we can walk. So if you start at the beginning for getting acclimated with yourself and understanding that, because sometimes we feel remorse because we feel like we didn't do enough. Yeah. No, if this event happened and you were broken, it's going to be difficult because you're caring for someone in a broken space. So again, whoever you are, when these events show up, that's who's going to show up as a caregiver, as a daughter, as a friend, whatever the case may be. That's who's operating in that moment. Mm-hmm. How resilient of us to be able to show up broken and not always whole in these situations that we can't predict. So I would say, start now. Don't wait for a tragic moment to love on yourself. If you show up already whole, you can get through these situations a little better. And I can say this, losing a daughter 2 years ago, vehicular homicide, I lost my child, and I had done so much work before this event happened with my child. I had done so much work on me that I was able to healthily grieve, like my husband calls it, positive grief. I was able to healthily grieve and not lose myself in that situation. Anything that God makes grieves, down to the animals. So they take their time. Do the research.
Yeah, they do.
These animals that go to the safari, they take their moment. Mm-hmm. So if an animal can take a moment, these elephants and zebras, the beauty of this, if they can take a moment and sit back and have their time to love on their people that are no longer here, then we can surely, we're the intelligent beings, right? We're the more intelligent human. We're supposed to be, the ones that got it all together. Mm-hmm. We should be able to take that moment and beautify it the best that we can. So I did want to disclose that I lost my baby. But how do you move on? You move on through support. You move on from proactivity. Don't start loving yourself once tragedy happens. Start now. Eat right now. Yeah. Go out to these places now. Find your community now. So proactive healing is really good too. So as you have these events, because we cannot go through this earth without something hindering or coming through and changing our lives. We can't do it. So if we show up as a whole person, we can help other people as well. As Beth was saying, I want to help other people. I want to show people, when you go down that route, here's how I can help you. So homage is a beautiful thing as well. So salute to both of you ladies. Salute to you, TT, as well. Being able to get back up. that right there is half the battle. That is half the battle. So watching you, like you said, with the 22 and going on and being able to memorialize in the most beautiful way. That's what we do. That's what the brown people do. Mm-hmm. We know how to survive. We've been surviving. Come on now.
Oh my God.
That's a whole other podcast. Right. We started this thing now. Okay. We've been passed down strength and resiliency. So we know how to do it. So we have to go back, get those tools, go get them vintage tools, learn how to come back and bounce back and learn how to breathe, sit in that thing for as long as you need to, so that you can heal properly and you don't have to return back there to that space as you move forward in your new space, as Kadia was saying.
Oh, I'm gonna ask you this. The difference between grieving, there's another one, grieving and people confuse it, mourning. The difference between grieving and mourning. People say it's two different things. Some people say it's one. What's your take on that?
Mourning is more of the action. I think mourning is the action of, if you look at it at how we mourn, we might put on our black, we gonna get sharp, we gonna have some time after, and then grief is the aftermath of it all, where it's time to sit in this now. Everybody's gone home. There's the phone calls get a little lower, so that's the grief. Once everything is quiet, Now, here we are. Here it is. It's time for us to step in this space that no one wants to go through. No one wants to sit in that seat. Nobody wants to sit there. That's grief. Mourning has a little more beauty to it, right? You know, we're going to do our rituals. We're going to come together and mourn those that are gone. Now I'm going to go and grieve this thing, which means now you're going to take some time for you, and hopefully in the most beautiful space possible, as you get through the anger and the whatever that is, and you come out on the other side and go through those stages of grief. Now you can go back to mourning now, because here's the beauty of it all. Here's the celebration of it all. You know, so it's so many stages and things that you can intertwine, but mourning is just how we do it, the how. And grief is, ooh, child. Time to sit in this thing and take this journey. Yeah.
Well, Queens, I want to thank you guys for your transparency tonight. I know for a fact you've helped several people. I believe that also we've helped one another by swapping the energy in this space. It's beautiful human beings like yourselves. Like, we never know why we meet people. We could think, well, we met because of this or we met because of that. But it's something that's inside of us that connects us. We're all woven. Who would have known when I met Beth that she would be sitting on a podcast that I have that didn't even have visual at the time? When I met you, I think I was just all audio. And be sharing the story about a woman that I met, about how you had to go through this process. Same with you, Kyra. You've always been a therapist, but to know that you would be sitting here and speaking and sharing and giving nuggets to people, people that can go to counseling, and there's people that can't go to counseling, right? Absolutely. And then for me, this young queen that I just met because I was moderating a panel, like, who knew that I was going to come back to Detroit and say, I'm going to reach back and talk to her? Because, we meet people and, I'm going to. She stayed on my mind. And then I said, let me reach out to her, because she has a covering down there. Shout out to Pastor Nikki. But her saying her yes to me, you understand, coming on this platform. And it's not for me, it's for other people. Yeah, thank you, Ron. Yes, thank you, Ron. It is powerful tonight. And I said that, y'all, that this is going to be different. I can't thank you enough for just coming in and giving your true raw testimony. It's not scripted. They didn't know no questions. I never write my questions out unless I'm asked to, because I'm dealing with a PR firm or something like that. I go from my heart and my spirit and my mind. I read the room. I know my guests, and I have a good grasp on what the people want to hear, what they need to hear. So I thank y'all for pouring into this evening the way y'all did. And it's heavy. I know when I get off of here, I'm going to do my little spreading of the show, but I'm going to sit and I'm going to shed some happy tears, because to know y'all, like, to know y'all individually, like, I know you, Beth. I know you, Kyra B. I plan and hope to stay a part of your life as long as God allows me to get to know you. But to see how we all operate and come out the way we do, it lets us know, no matter what we've been through, that there's something special in each one of us. And what you have, you're supposed to give it to others. So I think I want y'all to.
One thing, TT.
You can say as many things as you want, baby.
Also, when we're out and about and we see people, be kind, because you never know what people are going through.
Yeah.
You see people all the time, and they could have just left the hospital from a loved one, or they could have just buried somebody, or they just could have gotten some bad news, and they're still walking around trying to maintain and not fall apart. Just be kind. You just never, and sometimes people need a smile. Sometimes they need a kind word, or they need some positive energy. I learned that because I remember how heavy I walked around, and people had no. I was on stages, I'm smiling, and people had no idea. I was so broken.
That's a fact.
So broken, trying to perform and smile and make other people happy, and I was so broken on it, and still deal with that. And you have to turn it on and you have to turn it off. So just be kind, because you never know what somebody is going through. You never know the heaviness of what people carry. You know, there's only a few people that know how I've really been feeling, you know. But I still have to show up and do my job. And I'm saying, am I saying your name right? Kaya.
Kadia.
Okay.
Yes.
Kadia.
Yes,
To have gone through what you went through, at such a young age, that shows your strength. Because you had no idea what was happening. And then you said you didn't get a diagnosis for your mom. So you didn't have any support. There were no medication, because there's medications available that could have calmed your mom down. But because you did not get a proper diagnosis, I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. But you can take that information and share with somebody else so that they possibly won't have to go through that. That had to have been extremely difficult for you.
Yeah.
Because I remember my mother was getting aggressive. I didn't know what to do. And I talked to the doctor, but because I had a geriatric doctor, they were able to help me and to give me medications for my mom. And I'm so sorry that you didn't have that. To the doctor, thank you for your kind words. Because it's still an open wound for us.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah. Y'all done woke me out tonight. I gotta go to bed.
I was gonna ask at 9:30, what do we do with this now? Because we gotta leave on a note.
Night. What I appreciate y'all so much.
We gonna leave on some goodness.
No, but it's good. But I appreciate you all so much.
Absolutely.
Something that you don't often talk about or share. And y'all know this, even Mother's Day is horrible for me.
Yep.
I dread it coming.
And you said,
and I try to convince myself. I said Mother's Day is a day that they said is Mother's Day. But when you see everybody that still has their mother, and you know what you went through, and you don't have yours. So I just want to give a shout out to Ron, give a shout out to Mike, because this Mother's Day, I got with my circle and we went to go be together, because nobody understands.
That communal healing. Oh, it's nothing like it.
It's that club that you, like you said, you don't want to be in, but you're in. So my love is to y'all. And the doctor, you losing a child. I can't even.
Yeah. Forever 22, by the way, Kadia.
Come on.
Wow.
She was 22.
Wow.
Oh, Jesus.
As soon as you said that, I was like,
Wow.
Yeah.
And for you to sit here and talk about that and you not falling out, because I'd be on the floor right now. So
yeah, I've been I got too many hickeys on my head from falling on the floor for 2 years. I'm up now, sis. I'm up.
Okay. Yeah. How long has it been?
2 years.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Very fresh, like you said, fresh wound.
Yes, just very fresh. It's very.
You know, I put tape. I'm a visual, so I put tape up in my mind of holes I refuse to go in right now. So I've made a decision. My mind, it will tell me, don't go in there right now. My emotions want to head that way. No, that's not where you need to be. Stay focused. So I've been able to do that, and it has made me. It's been beautiful.
Okay.
Having my brain tell me, keep the tape right there. You're not ready for that space right now. Cool. Okay. I'll go this way. Yeah.
Wow. I think the bond has been created on tonight. And again, thank y'all for the vision. You seeing the vision. Kadia, you're the reason why I did the show. You inspired it from your testimony at the conference, at the women's conference. And I thought of who I could pair you with. I didn't even know I was going to have a panel. I'm like, oh, she needs to talk to Beth. And then I'm like, oh, she can talk to Kaya. And then I was like, I wonder if I could get them to do a panel, because I talked to some other people who wanted to be a part of the panel but said, I ain't ready.
I get it.
Right. And I just thank God that I say sometimes when we go through things and it ain't about us, sometimes, in my opinion, we have to go through some things for the man, the woman, the boy, or the girl that we're going to connect with. It has nothing to do with you. But because you are equipped with that and that's your assignment, and God said, I could trust you with it because I know you're going to deliver it. But I'm going to send them to you. And what are you going to do with them? What are you going to do with them? I know you broke or been broken. Some people like, I don't know. I don't know. You just got to learn to get through. I don't know. You do know. You do know. You just don't know, you know. And sometimes we don't know what we don't know until we realize we don't know.
That's right.
I know that's crazy, but
accurate.
Facts. So, on a happy note, I think, one of these days I'm gonna be able to say I'm gonna pull something off from Kyra B and play. One of these days, I think, yeah.
Working on it.
While you're working on that, I just want to say thank you to you ladies as well. I have learned so much. I have absorbed so much, and this is not. I could not have predicted how this experience was going to go. I was very scared, very nervous. I've never talked about my mom publicly, ever, in 4 years. And even though it has been 4 years, I definitely still feel like it's fresh. So I just want to thank you guys for making this probably one of the best experiences and the best ways I could have ever started this conversation. And Miss TT, I was not going to speak to you, and I told you that on the phone when I met you at the conference. I told my best friend who was there with me, I wasn't even going to go up to the mic and talk at all. And I was the last person to do it because I waited till the absolutely last second just in case they were going to be like, okay, that's it. Can't nobody else talk. Can't nobody else say nothing. And I told my best friend on that day that I wanted to talk to you, and I got scared. And I was like, she's not going to be here tomorrow. And you ended up being at church the next day and coming up to speak to me. And that's another thing. God, sometimes if you don't want to move, okay,
he'll move you.
You okay?
Yeah.
He'll move you.
And will.
Because I said speak to her yesterday, and you thought you would get out of it. You know, and so like you said, people say they're gonna call you, they're gonna talk to you. I've been asked to do a lot of podcasts. And it just never fell through, or I never got called. And for you to just see something in me and to see that I had something valuable to say. Because I remember you telling me that I had a story to share, and I was like, I said, I don't know about that. Because I feel like I am young and I don't have no answers for you. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out myself, and I don't know. And so these last 4 years of losing both of them have been so traumatic, and I feel like this was just the best experience. This was just so amazing and so helpful, because you see that people just they see you too.
Mm-hmm.
To and everything that you do, and even in everything that y'all have going on, for you to take time out to be on this panel and share your story as well is really, really beautiful. Mother's Day is hard. Father's Day is hard. And so just thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Ooh, you're welcome, Queen. You're welcome. I wish I could give you each a hug, right? Gratitude. I will text you all individually, but I can't say thank you enough. I can't tell you how much I know that you have impacted somebody tonight. Just know that you may have given somebody another reason to say I can make it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many people, unfortunately, we know that side that don't deal with grief well.
Absolutely.
I'm working with somebody right now that I love dearly, doesn't process grief well, and I worry about them. I worry about them.
Nobody wants to deal with grief. We don't want this, but this is a part of life. And you have to, however, you got to figure it out, because you can't stop at grief's door. You can't stop your life. You got to figure out, I kept telling myself, this is the circle of life. This is the circle of life. I have to go through this, even though it was painful, and it still is. We have to realize too, that the person who has left us, what would they want us to do? Would they want us to stop at grief's door and shut down and be unproductive and not keep moving? If they could speak from the grave, they would say, if you don't get your butt up and do what you're supposed to do, I'm gone.
Yeah.
And we know that our parents would have told us that. And those are the things that I heard that made me keep going.
Absolutely.
Get your butt up and do what I taught you.
Mm-hmm.
Not stop here. You knew I was going to go one day. You knew this was going to happen. We don't know the day, the time, or the hour, right? No. But we honor our parents. We honor those loved ones by continuing to go and to push. So if you can share something with that person who's not handling grief, tell them, if this person was alive, what would they tell you? Would they be pleased with your behavior right now? No. Get up and do what you got to do. Push through. Give yourself a moment.
Take your moment.
Take your moment. But get back up and be successful, because if you're being successful in their absence, then you are honoring them in that way. We're honoring our parents by speaking about them. We're honoring our parents by continuing to move. We're honoring our parents by continuing to be successful. We're honoring our parents by implementing the things that they taught us. They didn't raise us and teach us to be failures and to not keep going and to be great. They did not raise us to do that.
Come on.
So we have to do what they raised us to do, which is to be great. And we probably have if you have seen your parent bury their parent, how did they push through and navigate?
Yeah.
It's just our turn. Tag you it now. It is what it is. Take your moment. Have your glass of wine. Trust me, I do.
I do.
And I keep it
moving. Yeah. That's
what it is. But you keep it moving, because if I were to become a failure, if I were to quit my music career, if I would quit being productive, if I would quit being a good wife, if I would quit managing this home, I would disrespect my mother in the utmost.
You absolutely would.
I will never do that.
I saw your shoulders. Beth, you getting me over here, because I saw your whole body perk up. You know,
it's what it is. When you see a person transition, when you see that and you know they have gone on to a higher plane, but you think about what they have left you here, your job is to honor that.
That's right.
Yep.
Whew.
Yes.
You keep your head up and you honor that, and you walk tall and you walk strong. And even though it's painful.
It's painful. Yeah.
It is extremely painful. I can't stop crying now. But I'm going to continue to honor my mother. You're going to continue to honor your daughter. You're going to, and my mother and father, because both of my parents are gone. You're going to continue to honor your parents.
Absolutely.
All of that.
Yeah.
And the other people that are watching you too. And that's something else that I've learned. Your children are watching how you deal with grief. Your nieces, your nephews, your just other people in your life who have yet to have to come to that moment in their life where they're experiencing grief of their parents or their loved ones. They're watching you and seeing how you deal with that, so they are able to have a reference point when they have to face that. And I'm just knowing, I was my mother's only child, but I was not my dad's only child. So his grandkids are watching me and my sisters deal with his passing, and how we do that, and how we carry that, and how we allow them to know that it is okay to have your moments and
be intentional,
have your things. And My oldest nephew just graduated from high school, and we gave him our daddy's truck.
Oh,
so when he walked the stage and we went to go take a picture with him, and he pulled out my daddy's chain, we were all tore up. Like, we was like, wait a minute. He's watching that, and he knows that it's okay to shed tears. He knows it's okay to keep him close and keep him alive. So that too, other people are watching you. Yeah. Not only the people that have passed on, but the people who are still here, they're watching you too. They want to see you do great. They want to learn from you. They want to grow with you too.
That's right. They are the gifts that keep on giving.
Woo. We are We're continuing the legacy. It doesn't stop. It continues.
So I said I was going to pull something, so we're going to end on a happy note, right? So we're almost into August, and then we know September comes after that. So I have this I want to share. Beth, as I said, is an artist, amongst other things. I want to talk about this flyer, if I may. Beth, tell us about the Summer Breeze Lady Nights Out concert.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, TT. Summer Breeze Ladies Night Out concert is August 22nd at the Garden Theaters. You can get your tickets. We want to see you there. I'll be opening the show with Mickey Howard and my brother Little G from Silk. Hosted by Joe Torre. I can't wait for this show. I'm looking forward to it. And you guys get your tickets. And I can't wait to get out there and sing for everybody. Okay. I won't be crying that night. I'm going to have a big smile on my face. But I will be carrying my mother and my father in my heart.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. And that is August, y'all. So now when we move into September, let's talk about this showcase. Come on, Miss Lady. Tell us about this showcase.
Okay. I'm so excited, guys. So September 17th, my mom's birthday. We are having Uncovering Diamonds is having their first showcase ever. So Jacksonville has never had a praise dance showcase ever. Wow. So we are bringing it to the city. I'm so excited. My girls have been working so hard to bring this to fruition. I can't wait. My pastor, my first lady, also Councilwoman Mickey Smith is going to be the MC. I can't begin to tell y'all about this woman, and I don't think we had the time, but she's going to be our MC. And we are bringing the house down. It's free entry, so if you can come, please, 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 I'd love to see you in the audience, and we can't wait.
Listen. Your people's excited. I'm excited. Y'all doing some great things, and I did not want to let this night go by without us talking about that.
Thank you.
You're absolutely welcome. Absolutely. And Kyra, I know I don't have the flyer right now, but tell them about the good things that you guys are doing here in the city of Detroit right now with the property, the land that you guys have acquired.
Yeah. We have, so Healing from the Rhythms of Within. It's a community-based mental health hub over in the D, 15922 Dexter. And that's where we are learning to tell our stories again. We're learning to go back into the spaces of our forefathers and sit together and commune. And on top of that, we are also, my sister is a licensed therapist also. So we've partnered with Healing from the Rhythms Within. So we have our studios there to do one-on-one therapy. And we do like to keep that storytelling in the forefront. It teaches us how to reach deep and get our words. A lot of times we don't have the words to say. So it shows us how to go down in there and pull out how we feel. There are so many emotions available to us. So learning that space and learning how to use your words, right, to get to your healing. So yeah, 15922, we are growers also. So we believe in mind, body, and soul. So we love to get in the garden because you can't heal yourself off hot chips. So, but in moderation, of course. But when you're going through the healing journey, we want to show you what you should be eating while you're going through your process. Even with grieving, we change our diets during the grieving process so that we can heal properly. So we do all of that over there. We love what we do. We love the storytelling. We love the music that goes with it. It's just an unconventional way to do it because artists heal different. That's just how it kind of goes. So it's just an unconventional way to heal. But yes, we are licensed. We take most insurances, but we don't turn anybody away. That's the beauty of it. So yeah.
Yeah, I love the healing pod. I'm like, yeah, y'all get.
Oh, yeah, you guys got to come sit in those healing pods. We love them.
Yeah. Well, ladies, I'm going to let y'all go. Be great. I want to thank y'all. Y'all let me kidnap y'all way over the hour mark. But we still got folks in them comments. There's still people I can see that are looking, and it's like, yeah, people need it tonight. They need it tonight, and I'm one of them firm believers. You know, if you got to go, you got to go respectfully. I got that. But when you have something to pour, you have something to share. I'm not gonna cut it off. Right, I'll be that last one. Okay, they turned the lights on. They open the doors. It's daylight. The birds are chirping. I thought, like, is we done? Y'all did? Okay, I'm a rock and roll until it ain't no more to rock to. So I want to say thank you. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all.
Ladies,
listen, the greatness that y'all have is priceless. Enjoy the rest of y'all evening. I'm gonna share a couple more promo things on my way out, and I'm gonna hit this with one of Everard's songs. I think it's beneficial for tonight. A song called Amen. It's one of my TT from the D people. That was my favorite people request back 2 seasons ago. I'm like, dang, they always requested that. I'm like, okay. So, but yeah, I appreciate y'all. Good night, ladies. Thank you for your stories, energy, and time. And you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you for chiming in and all the hearts and diamonds you was posting on tonight, and everybody who was in the comments. Those of you that knew what to do and how to get in there to get those comments, because there's some others I could see, but I can't see them over here. So I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I'm not that savvy. But I do appreciate y'all. I love you, ladies.
Love you. Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome. And I'll be coming back for y'all again soon.
Indeed. All right, ladies.
All right, good night.
Bye. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, I really want to thank y'all for holding it. I kidnapped them ladies for the longest time, and I hate that I did that, but I'm not mad, and I'm not sorry, because I know that they're not mad, and I can say that. They blessed y'all with some tips and some information. There was a lot of healing. I felt that energy. There was tears of joy. There was tears of, I'm still going through it, right? And as we keep living, them elders used to tell us, keep living, baby, just keep living. And it didn't make sense when I was growing up. I'm like, what's that supposed to mean? But as I gotten older and I've met some amazing people like the Kyra B's and the Beths, right? And this young queen that I just ran into down in Jacksonville, Kadia, amazing, beautiful spirit. I said, God, thank you. I said, thank you for that. Healing is a day-to-day process. It's not going to happen magically overnight. Now, we can tell ourselves like, oh, I'm good. But who are you telling that to? And why are you saying it if it's not really what you're feeling? Because trying to suppress it and put on the show for somebody else that can see right through you, it doesn't help you. So as Kyra B said, take your moment. You know what I'm saying? Take your moment. Process that. She shared with you guys the difference between mourning and grieving, right? Y'all know, like she said, we be sharp, we have us a good time, we celebrate life, we do all that. And then you go home, you take off your clothes, and you might be alone. And what do? You're going to cry, you're going to yell, you're going to scream, you're going to do whatever you need to do. But it's what you do after, right? Every day, you get to do it a little bit better, a little bit deeper. And that's what it's about. I want you guys, if you need to know more, if you're local in Detroit, I'm going to share more information about Kyra B Services. Her and her sister Vaughn are amazing, and they have a great team. I'm going to share that flyer if you guys want to go out and see Beth's performance next month. And then Kadia, if you're in Jacksonville, North Carolina, or you feel like, I could take a trip down there, I could use that. I'm telling you. I've been trying to figure out how I can get down there, y'all, because I got something going on, and I'm on a couple of productions, and I'm supposed to be on the set. So I'm like, I got to figure that one out. But I really want to go. Ron, what you say? TT, when my mother passed away, we had just started working together, and you took the time to come to her service and support family. Ron. Don't make me cry, Ron. Don't do that. But yes, Yes. We support our own people, right? And when I say our own people, that's the people that we love on and love on us, right? I know a lot of us intertwine because of the business we in, entertainment, but when you allow yourself to be natural and authentic, we form relationships. And I'm big on building relationships. Yeah, I be all over the place. And them ladies, Kyra knows she be in 50 million places, and Beth be all around the world. So it's like hard. But when they gave me that yes, and for some of y'all don't know this, but Kyra B is our resident licensed therapist. So when I have something that's deep, and even just having her come on, just because I just love her to come on anyway. But when I need a sound mind, someone with strength spiritually and professionally that got the, some of y'all be like, I ain't listening, they got no letters behind their name. Well, she got letters behind her name. Okay, she got it. She did. Y'all saw it. Yeah, you seen it. Okay. So just in case y'all say, TT, you ain't licensed, you ain't not a licensed therapist. Kyra B is a licensed therapist. Okay, so that's why she was giving that information to y'all. She was giving y'all some tips, and I hope, on a serious note, I hope you take it and you put it in your jar of goodness. So every day you can go in, because every day gonna look different, right? So I'm gonna share this with you guys. This is Mel. I'm sure Mel's not on here right now, but Mel blessed a few of us ladies to do something really amazing. And this kind of helped us go along with when you're going through and you're growing. Some of us come from broken places and spaces and things like that. I think we talked about that. So hopefully I can pull this up and share this. Oh, I know I want to share with you guys. Listen, I want to share this with you guys. Now, y'all might have seen this on social media, and I was so like, with it. And I said, I'm going to share that. So let me see if I can pull it up. It's a little, hopefully I still got it. It's a little mini video of the profound wisdom of words that I thought would be interesting. Very short clips, but check this out.
Stop telling people every time God blesses you. Some blessings grow better in private. God didn't bless you just for everybody to put their fingerprints on it.
I hear you, Mama.
Take that and do what you will with it. And here go another one.
Sometimes God removes people because he heard conversations you didn't. You're mad they walked away, but you don't know what they were planning behind your back. God saw what they were about to do to you, so he moved them first.
God is good.
Oh, that was a word for somebody else. I don't know who needed to hear it. And then this is Melanie's book, Minding My Own Healing.
We never perceive brokenness or a bad thing as good until later when we see the good things that can come from the bad thing. Sometimes the bad situations that happen in our lives can put us on the right path to the best thing that will happen to us and position us for healing. As I was minding my own healing, I learned that healing is a personal journey of becoming whole or healthy again that involves a process of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual experiences. Healing doesn't mean forgetting or ignoring the pain. It's when the pain no longer controls you. When you can detach from what has been inflicted and only take the lessons with you. Some say time heals all wounds. That's not true. Time alone does not heal you. You heal you. God has already given us his healing power and placed it on the inside of every believer. It's up to us to access it and activate it. My prayer is that the words, scriptures, information, and testimonies of the contributing authors poured into this book will inspire, encourage, motivate you to navigate through your healing journey. It's never too late to heal. It's never too late to start minding your own healing. The pain and hurt may not have been your fault, but the healing is your responsibility. My proverb is, hurt people hurt other people, but heal people heal others. My name is Melanie Smiles, and I'm the author of the book Minding My Own Healing, and you can get your copy and start minding your own healing at www.melaniesmiles.com. It's also available on Amazon, at Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and other media platforms.
Well, that's all we got for y'all. Until next week, it's your girl TT from DD, and I'll see you soon.
You never gave up on me. You never gave up on me. You were my testimony. Oh.